Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to Get Creative with JH Creative. I'm one of your hosts, Chrissy Souders, joined here by marketing and design strategist, Julia Holly. Hey, Julia.
Hey, Chrissy.
And we also have Carla Hutchinson here with us today, and she is representing Foundation for Arts. Hey, Carla.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us, Carla, as my guest.
It is my pleasure and my privilege, Julia. Thank you for the opportunity.
So everyone,
I just go ahead and give a little bit of background of Carla here in just a minute. But Julia, I wanted to touch base with you in an effort to explain to people why we are having this live stream and what we want to make sure people who are watching share and engage with us and ask questions.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. So I have several topics I felt like would be really helpful to small business owners out there who might be struggling right now. I was really inspired to just wanting to educate business owners or anyone with their companies that they work for their communication or marketing needs. And also I wanted to invite guests. So that's why there's a series of topics like JHC and Friends. Those include clients or even fellow creatives that I am huge fans of their work. So I just wanted to have just a show that would help inspire and educate folks.
And it's super important because people right now can't really get out there and network and collaborate with each other right now. And so having this platform is actually very much valuable for businesses in our community. I know you've been recommending me to like everyone, but why is it important to have a strategy for your business and to create that plan?
Yes, so since I've been doing this for about 7 years now, I've been running my business now independently for 7 years. I've noticed that I kept running into a lot of the same types of questions from people. They'll come to me for a specific project, but then they haven't thought about the full strategy. They haven't thought about the big picture for their business. And so instead of tackling just that initial project, I'll ask them questions about, have you thought about your main audience? Have you thought about, what is your brand scenario like right now? Do you have your brand assets in place? And what is your main message that you're trying to communicate? A lot of these things are very important to have in mind before just saying, oh, I need to get this brochure done, or I need to, get a website done, and not really think about the strategy.
And with Carla here, thank you so much for joining us, Carla. Carla is one of your clients, and you have actually helped convey her message through Foundation for Arts. So go ahead and explain to us a little bit about Foundation for the Arts, Carla, and also I know you have an extensive background. It's quite remarkable. You studied at North Carolina School of the Arts at the age of 15, and then you began your pre-professional career as an apprentice with the Bay Ballet Theater, among other places, Orlando's Southern Ballet Theater, and you found yourself here in Tallahassee with your family, and now you're managing and holding tons of positions within small organizations. And also you have a military background as well.
Well, just to clarify, I've worked on military research projects through FSU, but I have not had the privilege of serving. But I do have respect for those who have. So,
and including the U.S. Navy and the U.S. Army, correct?
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, so I guess just another quick background too, like how we met. Carla and we met through our chapter for BNI. It's an international organization, but the chapter that we're in is Big Bend Business Builders. And I believe either she was a member first or I was a member. We kind of joined around the same time that year, I believe. So that's how we met. And she reached out to me just asking for small requests and helping with some of her branding. And then from there, our relationship grew. And I feel like she's one of the few folks in town that I feel like I can consider as a friend, not just a professional relationship, just because she's such a wonderful person and she does so much for the community. Not only supporting me as a business owner, but she supports many people in town. So I'm really, really happy to have her join us today.
Thank you, Julia. That's so humbling. And actually, I feel like I'm on the receiving end of our relationship because you've done so much for me, trusting me with your amazing children to start with, and then helping our organization and foundation grow. And like you said, I love that you don't just do a marketing piece in a vacuum, but you take a consultative approach and look at what the goal of the organization is, what the budget is, and make it fit. So that to me is beautiful, and I am in your debt. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so when we initially started together, it used to be just, it wasn't a foundation, right? It has evolved. And Carla actually is very open-minded and looks to several folks that she trusts for advice. I feel like that's what's made the relationship so collaborative. She really trusts my input. So she'll call me and ask me for questions on anything related to marketing or just even just as a whole. And I really thought that was really great of her too. So here is, just since it's pulled up right now, this is her logo. And we did a refresh of her original logo with the last group that worked on it. And then, just to kind of like to give you a little bit more background too, I helped her choose some fonts that kind of matched with the original. We didn't want to veer too far from what she had before. A lot of the color schemes were consistent with what we had before, but I kind of simplified it so that, we just wanted to have a color scheme that was still conducive to her brand and approachable towards families and children. But there was a lot going on before, but now I believe things have simplified. And I know Chrissy has her website pulled up. She also was in transition to refresh her website, which was really done well by Capital Data Studios, that's JP Lopez. And so we were able to work together, and I've been just doing small, additions here and there, but it was mostly designed by JP, and he's also a member at BNI at our chapter. So just a quick shout out to him as well. Did you want to talk a little bit about that process, Carla?
Absolutely. So as Julia said, it was an evolution. I really liked the concept for the original logo, but Julia was honest enough to say, Carla, it's okay, but it's really busy. There's too many elements. It doesn't transfer well. You have to think about a logo that can adapt so that you can put it on a t-shirt, you can put it on a water cup or on a pen. And if you've got all these tiny little details with a gazillion colors, it makes it hard to brand. So that was really eye-opening for me. And that's one of the many things that I value about Julia is that she will tell you what she thinks you need to hear, not what you want to hear. So it was definitely a process because I do work with an amazing team of creatives, many of which are visual artists. So it was kind of a group think project. Julia was very patient in allowing me to get feedback from my team, but also saying, okay, let's simplify it. Here are 3 options and choose one, because otherwise we'd still be talking about how to simplify it. So thank you for your patience and candor with making that happen for us.
And it's always,
yeah,
go ahead.
That's my question. Yeah, that's my question. So as far as like, has it made things, clearly it's made things easier now that you were able to simplify this and have a clear direction of what your message is and what your branding
Absolutely.
is.
Like Julia said, from the style guide, the color scheme, and it's lovely that it transfers. Like I, just wrote a book and we were, looking at the cover and the folks that are doing it put the cover design together, but Julia was able to look at it and say, hey, Carla, I think the spacing isn't quite right, and it looks a little cluttered, and maybe the colors aren't perfect, so let me talk to their design team. I speak their language. I can tell them the codes to use for this, that, and the other. And the logo, they were able to, put it on the spine and on the back, and because it's clean and put together, it works in a variety of settings. Something as simple as, oh yeah, okay, so that's the first iteration of it. Now It looks cleaner thanks to Julia's input. But we were able to put it on bookmarks, we were able to put it on bumper stickers, and that's something that wouldn't have been able to occur had we stayed with the busier design. I think you showed the planner. That was another pet project that I was so excited, because I'm crazy with productivity, because I struggle with organization myself. So I was always looking for, I like this planner, but it doesn't have a meal planning component. And I like this one, but it doesn't have like tracking for time blocking. And it doesn't have goals and this, that, and the other. And I was like, Julia, can you just make something for me? I literally cut little pieces out of this, that, and the other. And I came to her with this Frankenstein looking thing and said, is there any way you can make this for me? And she was like, oh yeah, I can do it. And I love it. So that I've got to say, of all the things, that's my favorite that she's done, because I use it each and every day. And it's kind of my sanity. It allows me to keep track of things that I couldn't do in my head. So huge, deep bow of appreciation, Julia, for taking the time and putting in the energy to do that. My family and my team, thank you as well.
Well, I have to say that this was a fun project for me too, because I think it's really tapped into one of my passion. Anything related to planning things out, one of my passions is to plan, and also help people save time and get organized. So I feel like planners are a fun project to work on. And I pulled up just to have everyone take a peek of what it looks like. Carla and I definitely worked on this together, collaborated a lot. She pulled a lot of her favorite elements from different planners. And she said, I just want to have a section for meals, just like what she mentioned. I want to have a section for keeping track of how much water intake and all the different habits I want to keep. So I love how she designed it as well. She just gave me direction, and she wanted some field options. So I threw it in, and we did have a lot of iterations, but I think that's what makes it such a great, we have a great product here for her. And she keeps telling me how people who she keeps giving this away to so nicely are saying, this is great, I love it, they're using it. And so anyways, I just wanted to share it with everybody who's interested in some kind of project like this, because I want to make my own design planner one day too. So,
Carla, how easy has this made your life, having that planner, not just for you, but for the people that you oversee within Foundation for Arts and others who use it?
It is my way of keeping track of everything. And one thing that I love, I have lots of sources of inspiration. I listen to Darren Hardy, and he'll kind of go through, and I'm like, oh, I need to buy his planner. And I looked at his planner, and I'm like, wait, I don't need his planner, because I've got those same elements in it. So like I said, for me, it makes all the difference. I notice when I use it, I'm less stressed, I'm more productive. I stick to our healthy eating habits, and those weeks that I don't actually fill it out, the stress starts to mount and the overwhelm sets in. Like I said, confessions of an unorganized business owner. I am not like Julia, where if you look at her desk, it's completely clear. I'm embarrassed to show you mine, but at least I know that my appointments and my life are organized in this planner. So it makes all the difference.
Oh, believe me, I like to pretend that I'm organized and clean, but it's not always like that. And to be honest, there are some disaster spots around the house right now. So I did want to talk about that too, just being fellow women business owners and even being a mom at the same time, just having those multiple hats. I just figured it would also be nice to discuss, like, how are you coping? How are you managing with time and all the different needs of the families right now, with everything up in the air with schools and everything? How are you handling all of that and staying sane?
I think that's a great question. Full disclosure, I'm at a little bit of an advantage from many families because we already did alternative education. I live about 45 minutes away from my office. So I told my husband, if we're moving to Quincy out on 20 acres with the horses and the dogs and the edible landscape, I'm not waking up at the crack of dawn to drag the kids into school in Tallahassee. So that part for me personally wasn't that huge of a struggle, but I talk to families daily. I just got off the phone with a mom who's exploring options because, as you know, it's impossible to be fully present in two places at one time. We can put on the hat of learning coach and crack the whip and make the kids get on the Zoom sessions and do what they need to do, or we can attend to our business and be proactive and have client meetings, but it's nearly impossible, I would say, to do both. So I think that's a big stress factor for us in our community and globally with these, viral outbreaks and the impact that it has on us and on families. The kids are stressed. They're, as Miss Page would say, they're wearing it. You can see that on their little faces. And I think being purposefully proactive and how we schedule our time, making sure that we are doing some self-care. I think as women, we're kind of conditioned to do so much for so many, but like my way around it was to color code the planner. So I'll write down like things that I do for work, things that I do for myself, and things that I do for others. And I will notice when the colors are there, sometimes there's a whole category missing. I'm doing things for everyone and I'm leaving myself out of the equation, and that's not healthy because it leads to stress and overwhelm. So I make sure now that I, go to dance class, that's my happy place. But seeing it on the planner allows me to try to have a more well-rounded circle of activities for myself, for my work, and for my family.
Yeah, I've kind of similarly I use my planner. I use different tools and apps online to keep me aligned and focused, because as a creative person who tends to have, I'm just constantly curious about things. So I tend to just kind of distract myself. And even I have a procrastination issue with my personal passion projects or anything like that, personal life even. But I've noticed along the way, there's different methods that can help me stay focused, like forcing myself to kind of stick with 15 to 20 minute increments of focused time on getting one thing done. And sometimes multitasking. And also, thankfully, with my kids, my 3 kids being a little bit older, and helping with my 4th child, that's been a huge help for me. And, I really like the fact that you're providing virtual sessions too, right? This coming fall, your school is going to do like digital academy support, I believe, right?
Correct, but we're doing that on site. So
okay.
So there are families who are not comfortable for a variety of reasons going back to brick and mortar schools in this environment, but they still need to work, or even if they're working from home, they can't be fully present with their children's learning and with their own work responsibilities. So for those families, we've come up with an option where we take on the role of the learning coach and support the children in making sure that they're taking care of their academic responsibilities on time. So it takes the stress off of the families for having to personally supervise that learning.
I was going to actually play a video if we mute our mics so we don't have any echoes, I believe. I'm not sure if the audio will come across okay automatically. Okay, that's great. So do I need to mute myself, Chrissy? And I'll
go ahead. I'll mute you. Okay. I'll mute you.
Thank you.
So if you want to go ahead and just if you want to exit out of there, and then when you click to share screen, click audio, because that's the only reason why we can't hear it right now.
Okay. So I'll just exit out of this page right now.
And then when you go to, go ahead and, and then when you share screen, click audio. It's so funny. There's so many updates with this platform. And like, that's the one thing I feel like they need to make it a little bit more prominent when you need to choose your audio.
Same thing happens with Zoom. We have to like share. Okay, so I'll just reshare again.
Yep, go ahead and share it. And the video that you're sharing, can you explain just a little bit about what we're about to see?
Yes, it's a video that they highlighted in the beginning to mention. I'm actually multitasking right now too, looking at how they did the socially distance practice pretty much in the beginning, and how this is I feel like it highlights the best of what they did initially in the beginning of the shutdowns, right, Carla? You guys did this in the spring.
Do you want to unmute your mic, Carla?
Sorry, I'm used to it being red on the Zoom, but at any rate,
That's okay.
I don't know that I've seen this particular video, but to answer the question, yes, we shut down for 1 week. We cleaned the entire facility, and then we started with COVID camps for the last 9 weeks of the school year.
Okay, I figured it out.
Yeah, here we go. It should work now because I see the audio button. So I'm going to mute everyone. Wow, that definitely takes some skill and planning as well, too.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have an amazing team. I hadn't seen that before, but that was my team's creative way to keep the kids involved with psychomotor skills, but do so at a safe distance. So, yes.
Yeah, I thought that was really impressive. And I know a friend of yours put that video together, right? So we just put it on Facebook, and that's basically what we've been doing. Just I mainly just check out to see the activity on Facebook, all of her social media channels, with her website, and any passion projects that Carla happens to send my way.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that.
We've since then, like in the last few months though, my areas of focus has primarily been related to the book. You know, when we put together a landing page really quick for promoting your book and getting folks to sign up, because you're doing some new things for Foundation for Arts as well, right?
Yes, I have to own it, but I'm actually starting to do group consulting. I don't know what the right languaging is, but maybe parent support groups or something like that, so we can help all of our families get through this crazy time that we're in and realize that we're not alone. And it's easier to do that when you have accountability built in.
Which pretty much is the reason why I recommended you to Chrissy too. Like, so that, like, to me is a perfect segue even to just mention briefly that you're going to have your own show on your Facebook channel, and it will be featured on these chapters for Parenting for Success.
Yes, I am slightly terrified because I'm camera shy. That's not my happy place. But thanks to Julia's gentle nudging and giving me a swift kick in the rear end with a velvet boot, and Chrissy's support, we're in the process of putting that together.
Let's definitely talk about this book. Okay. Because I know the background behind it. But let's talk about what this book represents, how you carefully crafted this book, and what is it meant to do?
So I have had the privilege of publishing peer-reviewed journal articles for research, but I have never authored a book. So this is my first time doing that, and it truly is a look into my life, the struggles that I have had and continue to have, and then a model for how I have solved my own problems in the hopes that it can be of benefit to other families, moms in particular.
And for moms who may be watching right now, how can they get their hands on this book? Because I think the title really says it all. And what are some things that they can learn from this book?
It really is tips and tricks. It is a meld from human performance improvement, from my instructional design background, project management experience. And I think as parents, sometimes we forget that we're humans, that we're human beings and not human doings. And we tend to overstuff our schedule and overstuff our house and think of everyone, ahead of us. And sometimes that can build a little bit of resentment and stress, and that's not healthy. So this was my attempt to meld all of my background together into a process for purposefully designing our lives. As parents, possibly as spouses, for those that are working or not, there's a little bit of something for everyone in the book. And it starts with analyzing our life. Where are you now? Are you happy? What would make you happier? What does the future look like if you didn't have to worry about money and you had a magic wand? What is the goal? And a lot of times, I think we forget that we need to set those goals so that we can set our schedules in alignment with our long-term goals. Otherwise, we just get so busy doing everything that we lose ourselves in the process.
And so in launching this book, Julia, what was the conversations you had with Carla to make sure that this was launched ideally in the manner that you guys thought it out to be?
Well, it was really easy for me because she had worked with a team who specializes in launching books and publishing books, so it was awesome. All I had to do as far as on my end was pretty much just spread the word out, set up anything she needed me to set up that the group recommended her to do. I provided feedback with the book cover design whenever she needed it, or sending them brand assets and the brand guide. So it's still kind of an ongoing thing right now to help her promote it. So we're really looking forward to featuring it more on her Facebook account, getting live streams out there, and getting more parents aware about what she can do to help families, especially parents.
I personally would love to hear like you read some of it, Carla.
I'd be happy to do that at some point.
I think that would be
Great
so
idea.
cool. Just like maybe like dedicate like a video of you reading like one portion of the book and how it can profoundly impact parents' lives. Like, yes, I need this information.
And I love it because
Absolutely.
the first chapter, I mean, I never got to know the detail of her background that you can get into as in the book. So if you read the book, you'll get to hear her story. And I love stories. I love stories. So, I highly recommend y'all. And right now, it also made it to the Amazon bestsellers list. So it's really a worthwhile read. And I'm looking forward to your Audible version if you're going to get it on audio version. And I'm all about multitasking and listening to audiobooks as well. So once it's out there, I'm sure it's going to like take off.
Thank you so much, Julia. Yeah, that's the next process. But honestly, right now, I am super excited to give away an electronic version of the book to any parents so that, finances aren't in the way of them benefiting from it. So if people want to email me, I'm happy to give them a copy of the ebook. They can reach me at Carla, Carla, at tallyarts.com. That's TALLY. arts.com, or they can go to the website and contact us through there. But definitely, if you guys are out there thinking maybe there's a tidbit that might help me, let me give it to you for free, please.
And the other thing I wanted to remind everyone, if people are still considering options for this coming fall, we recently posted this on their Facebook account. There's a graphic that I put together that we had a really positive response to, is that y'all are really there wanting to support families right now. It's a tough time. And I just figured, hey, I'll end it with that, Carla. If you wanted to mention briefly, what your team is doing to support the families right now.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Julia. So in addition to our regular after-school services, we have a daytime program that will involve supervising the kids with their academic activities. We also are working on putting together some program support for families who may want to take on supervising their kids' academic learning and want to do that themselves, but don't have an educational background and they might be a little bit intimidated. So that material is being authored right now by Dr. Nancy Fontaine, and we're really excited to get that information out. So there is something for everyone. It's not a one-stop shop. People have different needs, but we're doing our best to support whether those families are brick and mortar and need after school, or they're doing homeschooling or supervising their own kids learning for the first time and may need some parent support groups to assist them with that, or whether they want us to take the burden off of them and we will be the bad guys and make the kids get on the Zoom calls with the teachers and do their homework. We're happy to do that as well.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome learning about how your team was able to make adjustments in the spring when everything was closing up, and they were able to accommodate families, who were kind of grappling with that whole thing. And distance learning, that's what they used to call it. Now it's Digital Academy, I believe. And then the other fascinating thing too is they know about Florida Learning Virtual Schools too, right? Your staff is pretty well versed in all the options out there.
They are. I don't know all the buzzwords because they had this master list of what child needs to meet with what teacher, what day, on what platform, and God bless my management team. They make it happen. So, like I said, I don't know the details. I just know their heart, and I know that it happens, and that if there are folks out there that are struggling and there is something that we can do, even if it's lending an ear, if you're struggling with what decision to make, I'm really happy to do that as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I like how you said, I'll be the bad guy.
Sometimes we all need that. The reality is I homeschool my kids, but my niece has taken on the role of the bad guy, and she'll chase them around the house and take away their phones until they get their schoolwork done. So there's nothing wrong with saying, I need a little help.
Absolutely.
Very cool. Very cool. And they can get your book on Amazon right now. Thanks for burying the lead. One of Amazon's best top sellers. Okay. That's fine. Thank you for adding that in. So anything you want to, any little nuggets you want to leave for people who are watching right now, Julia, as far as planning for your business and creatively thinking outside of the box, even though we are in a box, and any other tips and tricks that you and Carla may have, juiced and vetted that would be helpful for people who are watching?
I think just utilizing the free tools that are out there. There's so many tools for parents, tools for, and for even just productivity. I've been doing this as a practice for myself. I time myself. I not only list out my wish list items, I make sure I've gotten them done. I have a huge checklist, but I feel like it's helped me to stay productive, and giving the kids a routine to follow has been a huge help as well. So yeah, I can't say I've done things perfectly this whole time. No way. My husband, I got to give my husband a lot of credit too, that he and I have just been kind of tag teaming and juggling everything together. So it's been a huge support for me to manage everything. And Carla, did you want to add to that? I
just want to say thank you. I'm a huge fan of hiring experts and allowing them to do what they are good at, because we cannot all be good at everything. And I think as business owners, we have a tendency to try to do it all. And that's where we get lost in the struggle. And sometimes we are our own worst enemy. So I am delighted to consider Julia a friend and an advisor. She's done so much for the growth of our foundation, and just as a sounding board for me. So for any business owners that are out there thinking times are changing, what do I need to do? The lovely thing is, if you get a team of supporters and professionals like Julia, you don't have to know how to work social media. You can throw it at Julia and she will make it look great. She will keep you from posting videos that are upside down and sideways with typos, right? Because we've done that once or twice. So
that was not me. No.
Right. So again, Julia, thank you for everything that you do for us and for the clients that you serve. And I'm really hopeful that people will reach out to you during this difficult time to make the best of the services that you offer, to find new leads and continue to cultivate the relationships with the existing clients that they do have.
Wow, thank you so much, Carla. I'm so glad
What a testimony.
I know, that's so sweet of her.
It's true.
But I think right now, especially for businesses and for people who are watching that, may need help, that you're not always the one that has to come up with the ideas. You can have a strong team around you to help you creatively think about what's going to benefit your business and what that message is that you want to get out there for people, which is super important. So,
absolutely.
All righty. And Samantha, she said, I just joined.
Hi, Samantha.
Hi, Samantha. So yeah, anything else you want to add before we, in closing, anything else we want to add about Get Creative with JH Creative?
Well, continue to join us. I finally found some consistent time slot that I'm going to dedicate some more shows to. I'm going to have more guests, more friends join us. And I'm also going to have a lineup of topics that'll help people out there to save time and money without breaking the bank. Because really, just give me a call. I'm just one call away, or just message me, and I'd be happy to help answer any questions that you might have.
Perfect. Well, everyone, thank you so much for watching this episode of Get Creative with JH Creative and JH Creative with Friends. And thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you back here the next time we have a live stream right here on Facebook. And you can also get this on YouTube. Have a wonderful day.